Right on time for Hope TV Newswatch on this 18th day of June 2024. A very good evening to you and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Keneddy Kimani and signing for us tonight is Boniface Moredi. Now, as members of parliament are set to begin dissecting the proposed Finance Bill 2024, hundreds of Kenyans under the Occupy Parliament banner today came out to exercise their constitutional right to picket and peacefully demonstrate in opposing the bill. However, the protest failed to continue as planned, bringing operations in Nairobi's Central Business District to a standstill. And as Sami Adika now reports, over 200 protesters were arrested with claims of police using live ammunition to disperse the demos.
For over 3 hours, it was a game of push and pull in Nairobi's Central Business District between police officers and the Occupy Parliament group that organized Tuesday's morning protests. The protests comes days after the group that organized the demonstrations issued a statement through social media platforms informing the public that the police commanders in Nairobi had been made aware of the protests. However, Nairobi's regional police commander, Adamson Bungei, issued a statement saying no protests will be allowed in the capital. Despite a few changes proposed on the 2024-2025 finance bill set to be discussed in Parliament after a meeting between President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza legislators in State House early Tuesday, the protesters have continued to blame President William Ruto for continually taxing Kenyans and failing to curb the cost of living that has been on the rise for months now.
I want to say that Kenyans, if you are still in your house, come to the CBD. You are the people we are fighting for, and you are saying that the revolution is here.
This is a peaceful demonstration first, and us as the youth, especially millennials, you see us here today, it's not a joke, because we now know that these things will affect us directly. So we are here to protest peacefully, but it seems like they're the ones who don't want the peace. But we're here to fight the financial bill 2024. Everything is just increased, from exercise duty, from fuel, food, everything is just going up. So it's our turn to fight for our nation.
Businesses remained closed for the better part of the day, with the proprietors blaming the police for using excessive force to disperse the protesters.
If you can look around, kila mahali kumefungwa, by the way. All the businesses are paralyzed completely. Kama sisi, you understand the hotel industries na restaurant industries, food season inaenda kuharibika kwa sababu hakuna kuuza kutoka jana, leo, maybe hata kesho hatutauza. Understand?
Journalists also found themselves on the receiving end of the police force, as a number were left nursing tear gas wounds and one arrested before being thrown out of a moving police vehicle.
Well, this was the situation earlier on today, even as the Occupy Parliament group that organized today's demonstrations vowed not to be silent up until the legislators fully amend the 2024-2025 finance bill. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Sami Adika.
Thank you so much, Samuel Adika, for that report, and welcome to Hope Media. The Kenya Kwanza government has announced the removal of the proposed 16% VAT tax on bread in the Finance Bill 2024, even as a section of Kenyans took to the streets to reject the contents of the contentious bill. Announcing the various proposed amendments in the bill, the chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Finance and Planning, Kimani explained that the new proposed changes are meant to alleviate the financial burden on Kenyans amidst the high cost of living. This comes after President William Ruto convened a crucial meeting of the Kenya Kwanza Parliamentary Group at State House, Nairobi, ahead of the consideration of the Finance Bill 2024 in Parliament. Grace Ahati now reports.
In an effort to alleviate the financial burden on Kenyans due to the high cost of living, the Kenya Kwanza government today moved to announce the removal of several proposed taxes in the Finance Bill 2024, including the highly contested 16% VAT on bread. This is ahead of the consideration of the controversial Finance Bill 2024 in Parliament. President William Ruto on Tuesday morning convened a crucial meeting of the Kenya Kwanza Parliamentary Group at State House, Nairobi, over some of the clauses in the bill that have triggered widespread opposition among Kenyans. This comes amid allegations that his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, has been inciting MPs associated with him to shoot down the bill over its punitive proposals.
This is the best thing that happened to Kenya, that we are having a conversation on issues that are of the nature of our country. Today, Kenyans know there is something called finance bill. Today, Kenyans know that we have a debt problem. Today, Kenyans know that there is a connection between the taxes we raise and the services we get, and the difference it makes in us not exposing our country to debt.
Addressing the press in Nairobi, National Assembly Committee on Finance and Planning Chairman Kimani Kuria announced that the various proposed changes are for the benefit of the citizens.
When we started the public participation in Finance Bill of 2024, we did make a promise that that public participation would not be an exercise in futility. We have listened to the view of Kenyans, and we are all in agreement that there are two things that we must do. One of them is that we need to protect Kenyans from increased cost of living, and therefore the proposed 16% VAT on bread has been dropped.
To further cut on costs, President Ruto has asked the nation to prioritize local manufacturing, arguing that the country can significantly cut costs by producing goods locally that are currently being imported.
There cannot be any bigger shape of madness. Importing things that you can produce locally. By importing those things, we are exporting our jobs. We are exporting our foreign exchange.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you so much, Grace Ahati, for that report. Members of Parliament will from Wednesday kick off the debate on the contentious Finance Bill 2024 after it was handed to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula. While addressing the House, Speaker Wetangula encouraged each member to get the report, read through it properly before the day of the debate and voting. The finance bill will be moved by the chairman of the Finance Committee, Keneddy Kimani, on Wednesday morning from 9:30 a.m. On Thursday morning, MPs will again sit on the finance bill and vote on that bill on Thursday afternoon. According to the Speaker, closure for submitting amendments will be on Thursday at 1 p.m.
I encourage each and every honorable member to get the report either from the the Finance Committee member for Molo will be tabling his report or his committee report this afternoon. I have not seen it yet. I have to approve it to be tabled, so when I recess, I'll have to perform that function. Once that is done, the report will be available at the table office. I encourage each and every honorable member to get the report either from the table office physically or on the parliamentary web, read through it properly. Upon doing so, we have allocated time as follows. Tomorrow morning from 9:30, the finance bill will be moved by the committee chairman. It will be open to debate the whole of tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, you have just approved a sitting for Thursday morning. And remember that tomorrow you will sit up to 9:30 or 9 in the night. On Thursday morning, we'll again sit on the finance bill, and House Business Committee has directed that we will then vote on that bill on Thursday afternoon. Committee of the whole on the same bill will come on Tuesday afternoon. Those of you who want to file any amendments, that I've seen some, I've in fact approved some, although it will be more decent and proper to file your amendments after reading the report to see whether you are proposing amendments that have already been dealt with by the committee. I have directed the clerk that the closure for submitting amendments will be on Thursday at 1 p.m. So those of you who want to file an amendments upon reading the report and the bill, ensure that you file your amendments at or before Thursday, 1 p.m. Thereafter, you'll be time barred, and don't say you are not given proper direction. I hope that when the bill is debated from tomorrow, you will debate from an informed position on the content of the bill, the content of the report, and what you desire the bill to be.
Now, away matters finance bill, the judiciary has termed the late principal magistrate Monica Kivuti's murder as the greatest assault of the Kenyan criminal justice system. Speaking on Tuesday at the Makadara Law Court as she led the judiciary in the National Day of Mourning for Kivuti, Chief Justice Martha Koome vowed to push for security reforms in the judiciary to ensure the safety of court premises, especially to protect judges, judicial officers, and staff in the course of their duties. Monica Kivuti was shot at the chest and pelvic area by the OCS of Londiani Police Station, Chief Inspector Samson Kipchirchir Kipruto, amid a court proceeding on Thursday last week. She later succumbed to injuries at Nairobi Hospital.
Today we have congregated here at the Kisii Law Courts, just as other courts throughout the country are, to remember and commemorate the life of our dear Honorable Monica Kivuti, who served as a principal magistrate at the Makadara Law Courts. Through an unfortunate incident that happened on the 13th of June this year, she was shot and she succumbed to the injuries that she sustained, leading to her death. This is an extremely unfortunate incident that happened while she was dispensing justice. It is in fact an abominable act that should not be condoned by Kenyans, and should be condemned in the strongest terms possible. In the preamble to the Constitution, Kenyans aspired that they would live in a society guided by the rule of law. In Article 159 of the Constitution, Kenyans vested judicial authority in the courts. Therefore, it is courts that dispense justice. Courts make decisions every day. They may make decisions that some people are not happy with. They may also make decisions that people are happy with. But irrespective of the nature of the decision made, the avenue of any individual who is aggrieved by such decision is not to take the law into his or her own hands. It is to follow the laid down channels of redress. And even then, it may be that that individual truly is the one on the wrong. Society has insisted that we must live by the rule of law. We must, as Kenyans, accept to be guided by the rule of law. We must, as Kenyans, accept to abide by the decisions that courts make every day.
Kenyans will now register to the new government health financing model under the Social Health Authority, which now comes as a replacement of the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF. This is per the guidelines of the transition from NHIF to SHA provided by the Ministry of Health. Here's Ian Githuku with the details.
Cabinet Secretary for Health Susan Nakumicha has led various stakeholders in the unveiling of the transition from the National Health Insurance Fund to the Social Health Authority. Speaking at the event, CS Nakumicha highlighted some of the key reforms that make the new financing model under SHA to be more effective than the previous NHIF. Some of the introduction in the health benefits package include accident and emergency cover, screening of cancer and other common diseases, and provision of assistive devices such as hearing aids and optical services such as provision of spectacles. Saying that these were all not previously covered under NHIF, Nakumicha lauded the introduction of SHA, stating that it not only provides healthcare to those who are sick, but also helps those who are healthy to remain healthy.
This evening is meant to be an interactive one.
The CS lauded the increment of funding for key healthcare services such as cesarean services from 17,000 as was under NHIF to 30,000 under the new healthcare funding model.
Based on that, that's why we had got the...
On his part, the chairperson for the Social Health Authority, Dr. Timothy, provided insight on the funding model under SHA. He explained that the government has set aside increased publicly financed funds that are to be used to facilitate the provision of free healthcare services, such as testing of malaria and HIV. An additional $8 billion will also be set aside to cater for community health promoters in terms of covering their stipends and providing them with all the necessary equipment.
By the government funding primary healthcare and the emergency chronic and critical illness fund, they are putting in resources from tax sources, and therefore it makes our financing more progressive. Then for health insurance, the Social Health Insurance Fund is being designed to be able to, first of all, there was a challenge with those not in formal employment, had a flat rate contribution of 500 shillings in the past. If I was to explain simply how inequitable that was, it means that for somebody who was earning 5,000 shillings a month, they were taking 10% of their total earnings towards health insurance. The person earning 100,000 on the other hand in the previous scheme was contributing 1.7%. So that doesn't become equitable because ideally it should be proportional, but even in terms of being progressive, they should, as your ability to pay increases, you should contribute a larger proportion of your pay towards healthcare needs. And that's the principle of social health insurance.
He also added that one of the key benefits that will come with the new healthcare financing model is the provision of screening of cervical, breast, colon, and other several cancers, which were previously a major financial burden to patients.
But we must...
As per the Ministry of Health, SHA seeks to achieve part of the bottom-up transformational agendas, such as improving health as an enabler for economic transformation and the bidirectional causality between poverty and ill health.
And I think from where I stand, we are progressing very well. When you look at the figure down there that was projected in terms of the low of the pyramid, bottom of the pyramid, in fact, the 8 billion that you're talking about, I think if we look at the provisions of the medications that we do provide at the primary care level, the figure should be ranging around 10 billion Kenya shillings. And those are actual figures that we have incurred in terms of cost.
With the reconstruction of the board that will now head the Social Health Authority, the government will be able to counter and detect fraud more effectively. All systems will be digitized, hence there will be no health fund card as was the case under NHIF. For Hope TV Newswatch, my name is Ian Gedhuku.
Well, thank you so much, Ian, for that report. Moving on swiftly, and nurse anesthetics from across Africa have come together to address the issue of lack of access of quality and affordable maternal and child health care. Addressing the medics, the president of the Society of Anesthetists in Kenya, Mary Mungai, said one key way to educate maternal mortality was through enhancing safe anesthesia. This is at the back of the alarming number of 800 women who died during childbirth, a problem which Mungai says can be solved with the right training of nurses.
The expertise and dedication of anesthetists is vital in reducing perioperative mortality and ensuring safer surgical outcome. As health workers, you are the arms and legs of the government, transforming our policies into quality services for our citizens. Our health workers must have all the necessary.
For us, doing anesthesia in African setting and also backed by our international delegates, that we have to do something in our setting to ensure that our mothers live. And when we talk about a mother, we cannot forget a baby, because a mother should not die when giving a life. And sometimes when a mother dies, also the baby dies. If the baby doesn't die, sometimes they'll live pouring saliva. Why? Because they develop cerebral palsy.
The Principal Secretary of the State Department for Broadcasting and Telecommunications, Professor Edward Kisiangani, has urged Kenyans to continuously plant trees so as to boost environmental conservation. Speaking at Nyaturango Wetland in Kisii County, Professor Kisiangani called for concerted efforts among environmental stakeholders to mitigate the adverse effects of climate change.
To make sure it's part of our performance contracting, and I think even the conservators who are here, the national administration, you know that is part of our performance contracting. We need to plant a certain number of trees. The president wants about 15 billion trees planted in the next almost 10 years. But we can even plant more. Even when they tell you that your section is supposed to only plant 5,000, we have changed our strategy. We now plant more. If you can get 20,000 plant. So I have already talked to my staff. You can see they are all here, and we want to support. We have several of our own state corporations under the ministry. So it needs all of us to supply seedlings and a plant. So we need a lot of cooperation across the board, and that's why we are here as national government. And we really applaud the local people for coming to participate in this exercise. People see the greater good of looking after seedlings. They will support. So the first line of defense shouldn't be just about reporting, but involving local communities to tell them the value of seedlings. If you do that, you will not need a fence here. They will look after the seedlings. And encourage the young people who are here, because in our arrangement that I have just instructed our staff to engage in, we are not going to buy seedlings from Kaptakat. Ask our young people to produce seedlings so that we can buy. So, and tell them that those seedlings of theirs, they will be very proud when they move around here and they realize that those seedlings came from their garden, and they are the nurseries, and they are the ones that now have created a forest. So it is also potentially a money-making venture for our young people around here. So who is this destroying the seedlings?
Crossing borders now, and Malawi Vice President Saulos Chilima has finally been laid to rest in his home village south of the capital Lilongwe, following a funeral where President Lazarus Chakwera called for an independent probe into his death in a plane crash. Chilima and 9 other people died in the plane crash last week in Malawi's northern region of Mzimba. The state funeral was held at the Bingu National Stadium in Lilongwe on Sunday, where President Chakwera and other dignitaries paid their last respects to the late vice president.
We know it is the accident which killed him. But what caused that accident? There are many theories coming in the social media, in the real media. We don't know which one is true. And also, what caused the delay in response? Was this deliberate? Was it natural? We know there was fog. We know it was dark. We know it was very difficult. But is this the whole story?
Well, it is 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Time now for a short news break, but immediately after, we'll be back with the business and sports news. Stick around.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Life is a school. If you're living, you're definitely going to learn lessons every day. However, some of these life lessons can be too costly.
This is where the expensive lesson comes in, because they then said, well, we don't normally give goods on consignment, but we said, let's give it a try to open a new market. And now that you're holding all this stock, we want you to buy it. And we just didn't have $1 million, Then they said, okay, well, you need to secure it. And we didn't have the security for $1 million. And that's when the expensive lesson began, because they received a letter from their lawyers.
You definitely don't want to miss out on this thrilling classroom from the School of Life, only on Hope TV, where we look and live.
Hope TV presents News on the Go every day at 4 p.m. for all the breaking news and news making headlines. Hope TV, look and live.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
Welcome back. Now let's get down to business. And the annual ABSA Inspire Me conference kicked off today, bringing together leaders from across Africa and beyond to empower women-led small and medium-sized enterprises, billed as the continent's largest gathering of women entrepreneurs. The conference focuses on providing critical resources such as market linkages, business networking, and mentorship opportunities. Our business reporter Mombi Wawero with more on this.
The 2020 to 2030 period has been earmarked as a decade for financial inclusion for African women, with governments and the private sector recognizing the untapped potential and advocating for increased access to finance, financial literacy, and market information. It is at the back of this that the 2024 ABSA Inspire Me conference has been convened. This year's hybrid conference brings together women entrepreneurs from ABSA participating countries, which include Kenya, Ghana, Zambia, Mauritius, and Uganda, as well as participating countries under She Trades hubs in Africa, that is Mauritius, Rwanda, South Africa, Ghana, the Gambia, and Nigeria. Speaking during the opening ceremony of the conference, the chief guest and president's advisor on women's rights, Harriet Chigai, stated that the two-day ABSA Inspire Me conference is a space to connect, share experiences, and develop tools and knowledge to take businesses to even greater heights, and it is also a call to action as a community to dismantle the barriers that still stand in the way of women's entrepreneurial success.
Kenyan government, through its Better Plan, aims to create jobs by reducing poverty, by focusing on the informal sector and MSMEs. Given the huge number of women in the sector, the government recognizes the need to economically empower them to faster achieve national development goals. The government is also cognizant of the fact that this pipe dream can work if we all work together.
With women-led businesses being on the rise across Africa, the World Bank estimates show that 58% of all African SMEs are women-owned businesses, contributing to approximately 30% of the continent's total GDP compared to 70% from the male counterparts.
Our aim today and tomorrow is that you find yourself challenged
and motivated to do things differently when you get back to your businesses. So this is nice. This is how you meet up, you meet with your friends and everything. But what do you do tomorrow when you get back to your businesses? I'm hoping you'll do something different that will pivot your business forward.
Microsoft Africa Managing Director Catherine Muraga said Microsoft will establish a data center in Kenya and underscored the importance of digital infrastructure in enhancing business capabilities in an increasingly interconnected world.
Microsoft has 2 data centers in Africa, both in South Africa, Cape Town and Johannesburg. And one of the recent announcements by Microsoft and the Kenya government is we're going to set up a data center right here in Kenya.
Absa Bank CEO and MD Abdi Mohamed highlighted findings in the McKinsey report, stating that if women were to fully participate in the economy, 12 trillion USD could be added to global GDP by 2025, necessitating the need to advance women's economic empowerment.
This agenda is so big, so strategic, so important that no one organization can do it alone. It's all of us together and working with government as well that can drive the agenda forward.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Mombi Waweru.
Thank you so much, Mombi, for that report. Family Bank Board of Directors and Management has announced the death of newly appointed chairman, architect Francis Gitau Mungai. In a statement, the board said Mungai died while receiving treatment in the United States of America. Mungai has served the board of Family Bank Limited since 2016 and has been serving as the vice chairman for the last 2 years before his recent appointment as chairman. He chaired the board credit committee and the board of human resource committee. Prior to joining the board, Mungai had supported the board both as a customer and as an architect since 1996, making invaluable contributions to the growth of the bank. And to some sporting action now, Jason Tatum produced a dazzling 31-point display as the Boston Celtics dominated the Dallas Mavericks 106-88 to clinch a record-breaking 18th NBA championship title on Monday. Jaylen Brown was handed the MVP trophy, which is named after Celtics legendary center Bill Russell. The championship win was the Celtics' first in 16 years and moves them clear of the Los Angeles Lakers, who have won 17 in the record books. Well, with that, we come to the end of our news tonight. Many thanks to you for making time to watch Hope TV Newswatch. We really do appreciate, on behalf of the amazing crew that made this bulletin a success. Have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Keneddy Kimani, and signing for us tonight was Boniface Moretti.